tonight for the guided meditation. So it's an opportunity for us to meditate together, and that is I think it's quite a powerful experience actually. Do most people here feel when they meditate together it's different from when they meditate on their own? Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And that energy, hopefully it's different better, not different, wow, that would be terrible, wouldn't it? No, when we meditate together, there seems to be a group energy that does help and does support. Even though we're not speaking, we're not interacting, it does seem to happen that energy supports all of us, you know. And I don't think, sometimes people say, it's peer group pressure. They're afraid to move, all this sort of thing. But I don't think so. I find myself that's very supportive. And of course in Myanmar, you know, the meditation centres are all over the place, and people go there for their holidays. I don't think they can afford to go anywhere else, but but they really value meditation together. That's the point of it actually, and this is why meditation centres and meditation retreats are so popular, because people find it easier to meditate, very supportive. So, and as always, I have a theme for the evening, for the meditation, so I will develop that theme and then we can try it out. I do notice that everybody seems to be busy. Do you notice that? I feel that I'm busy. Is there anybody here that is not busy? Who feels that they're not busy? That's the main thing, really. Whether they are busy, I guess that's another thing. I don't think, great, I can't see the person, but I can see the hand. Is that Jack's hand? Yeah, I saw the hand, one person. And two, that's good, because on last Friday, a family came from Cobram to offer the lunch dana, the lunch to the monks and nuns at the Newbury Buddhist Monastery, about 100 kilometres from here. But it's about 3 hours from Cobram, I think Paul knows about Cobram, to Newbury. And somehow it came up. I said, "Are you busy in Cobram?" And he said, "No, I'm not busy." I said, "Well, do you like that? Do you enjoy it?" "Yes, I do." And I thought, how wonderful that he does enjoy it. And it reminded me, you know, when I first went to the Ajahn Brahm's monastery in Western Australia, before I went there, I felt very busy. And I thought, well, when I go to the monastery, I won't be very busy. But I found, when I went to the monastery, I felt busy still. And of course, actually, when you first go there, you're helping with many things, driving, and you're helping with the cooking and all these sorts of things. So you are sort of busy, but you do have the time for meditation. But I felt busy, and it made me realise, where is this busyness? Where do you think it is? It's in our minds. It really is. We have a busy minds, or minds that have a habit to keep busy or feel like we're busy. And so it's important that we find ways to create habits where we're not busy, that we enjoy when we are not doing anything. And this is something that we can do. And one of the things that I found very helpful that is, and when we stop, it creates a new habit. It breaks this habit of being busy, and it gives us another habit of not being busy. And in actual fact, if we feel we're not being busy, we can be a lot more peaceful, and we may be even more productive. Because sometimes when we feel busy, have you noticed, we're trying to do so many things, and often multitasking at one time. And that can actually reduce our efficiency, I feel. But it also doesn't feel so pleasant, because every so often, I think everybody, when you're busy, you feel overwhelmed by it at times. But one way we can create a new habit, and that's by enjoying the many in-between moments in our lives. There's lots of times when we're not busy, when there's nothing we have to do. And Ajahn Brahm, he calls these the in-between moments. And our life, actually, if you look at our lives, there's lots of in-between moments. And those moments can be things like when we're on the train, we're on the bus, going wherever, maybe to work, travelling somewhere, and there's nothing we can do at that time. Or it may be when we're at the doctor's or the dentist in the waiting room, just, waiting. And these times, or at the airport's a good one, isn't it? Sometimes you can wait a long time at the airport. So there are these times when we are waiting for something to happen. There's nothing we can do at that moment, but we tend to, and this feeling of waiting can lead to a feeling of, I've got nothing to do. I'm really free. It can be quite a peaceful feeling too, or feeling that, I don't have anything to take care of at this moment. Can't. I'm just waiting to arrive at the station I'm going to catch the flight, to see the doctor, see the dentist, whatever it is. And this can be an opportunity for us just to be present. And just to be in the moment and to feel that freedom that comes from, we don't have anything we have to do. So this can be useful in the meditation, using this theme, this idea that we're just waiting. And there's nothing we have to do, and nothing that we have to look after for the moment. And it's a very good way for me, because of disabling the doer. We're great doers. We're always on the go. We want to do something. And it reminds us that there's nothing to do now. And there's nowhere we have to go. The train's going, the bus is going, the aeroplane's going, not us. And it encourages just to be. That's something that I think many people really aim at, just being. But it's very hard for us, because all the doing takes over. It's hard just to be with the present moment, to be with what we're experiencing through this body and this mind. So we can miss the opportunity, and I think many people know what's coming next. We try to fill up these in-between moments, don't we? And we try to fill them up. We because we want to be. Often we feel like don't want to waste time, do we? We want to be productive and do our emails and send text messages and all these things, and it can often be driven, can't it, by a feeling of I don't want to be bored. I want to have something to do, and it can be also a fear of just being with ourselves. But boredom is one of the big things. I think it's one of the big bugbears, I think we call it, of modern life. People don't want to be bored. And these days, with technology, with life as it is, the pace of life, there's so much happening. And you can still be bored. So we distract ourselves with these things, and you often, don't you, when you go somewhere where people are waiting, what are they doing? What most people doing? Looking at the phone, exactly. They're really glued to the phone. And sometimes you see very funny occasions, social occasions, where everybody's sitting around looking at the phone, not speaking to each other. It's quite amazing, these phones are really, they've got a lot of power over us. So, and we miss the opportunity just to be present. And that is something we can do. There's nothing we have to do in that in the moments, these in-between moments, just to be at peace with the present moment. But that's very hard for us. And I know there was a nice talk that Ajahn Brahm gave last year during the Rains Retreat. I don't know if you've heard of the Rains Retreat. This is a 3-month meditation retreat that happens every year in Buddhist monasteries. And we focus on meditation for 3 months, from usually July to October. And during that period, Ajahn Brahm, who's the teacher in Western Australia, he's a spiritual advisor here, he gives talks that focus on meditation and skillful ways to develop the meditation. And in this talk, actually, it was a really great talk called Time in the Middle. They gave it that a time in the middle. What do you think time in the middle is? It's actually, when you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. It actually becomes clearer. Time in the middle is now. The middle of past that side, and future that side, just now. And so he had this really nice advice to us about just being present now, waiting. This is what he used: waiting without wanting. It's a great slogan, isn't it? He's very good at these catchy phrases. Waiting without wanting, and in these in-between moments, without asking, oh, what can I do now? What's next? All that sort of thing, and trying to fill up the present moment with things that we want to do. That wanting can really, really drive us in life. And I know, the Ajahn Brahm often talks about when we are wanting in meditation. Usually, actually, sometimes people say to me, many times they say to me, what do I do next? and I say, well, this is actually wanting, And wanting is the opposite of what meditation is about. So this waiting without wanting is a way of actually suspending all this wanting that drives our lives. And Ajahn Brahm actually calls this sort of meditation where we want to get peaceful, we want this thinking to stop, we want to get deep meditation, we want to get joy, we want to get bliss, we want to get the big insights. He calls this second noble truth meditation. Have people heard of the Four Noble Truths? No? First noble truth is that there is unsatisfactoriness in life, not getting what we want. It's sometimes called suffering. And of course, but not getting what we want is one of the definitions the Buddha uses of the first noble truth. And so unsatisfactoriness is not bad, suffering is not bad, because old age, sickness and death is also included in there. Most people would say, very unsatisfactory, thank you. We don't want it, old age, sickness and death. So, and the second noble truth is the cause of this. And of course the cause is wanting, or we say tanha, wanting things. And wanting things that are going to lead to us getting reborn again and again. But this wanting is actually something that drives us. And until it's, the Buddha called it actually, tanha dasa. We are slaves to wanting, to craving. We think that wanting is our slave. But in actual fact, it drives us. And it gives us never-ending jobs that we have to do in order to achieve these desires, these wants, these cravings. And so this is usually thought of. Ajahn Brahm expresses it: the freedom of desire. It's never-ending. It'll drive us. It'll create a lot of work. It creates busyness, and so this sort of a meditation won't lead to peace. And this is one of the reasons that waiting without wanting is so useful, because we just suspend the wanting. And when we are waiting, this, really, no matter how much you want to be at the destination or how much you want the doctor or dentist to come, it's not going to happen any quicker. So we can just wait without expecting, without wanting. But can we wait without wanting? And of course, the good news is yes, because the third noble truth, Ajahn Brahm says there's third noble truth, meditation. And this is when we have freedom from wanting, freedom from desire, craving, all those things. And what happens when there's freedom from desire and craving? It's very peaceful. We have nothing to do. We're not busy. We don't have to do a lot of work. So this freedom, this waiting without wanting, a wonderful idea actually we can use in the meditation and use in our lives, just to really appreciate those times when we don't have to do anything. So not to necessarily feel like we can fill it up with busyness, keeping busy, doing all these things. because there'll never be an end to that. There isn't. Is there an end to emails? I don't think so. They just seem to get more and more and more, these emails. Does everybody here have endless emails and things like that? If you're in a work environment, it happens a lot, and even at a monastery. And now everything is on email. You have to go through the email accounts, your email accounts. So now it's time we can try this out, to be waiting. Just try this waiting without wanting. Oh, there we are. And that's it. So we can find a comfy position. And it's helpful to close the eyes. If you feel comfortable, we can close the eyes. And we can feel welcome to the present moment. We can let the past be and let the future be. What's going to happen? Who knows? What has happened? Well, finished. And we can have this feeling that we have nothing to do for now and nowhere that we have to go for now. Just being here, being present. And we can check up on the body. Does it need any adjustments? Do we need to make the body more comfortable? Do we feel balanced? Does the head feel balanced over the shoulders? And the shoulders, do they feel comfortable and balanced over the hips? And the legs and the feet, if they are comfortable? And the hands, we can have them on our knees or on our lap, however we find comfortable for the meditation. Giving attention to the body, seeing what it needs. And we can mentally relax the body. This is very useful, actually. Giving the body from the top of the head to the toes this mental massage. It has quite an effect on the mind. So we can start at the back of the head, relaxing it, soothing it, and moving the attention to the top of the head and the side of the head, sides of the head. Soothing and relaxing those areas, giving them a mental massage. And we can move the attention down the forehead to the face, all around the eyes and the mouth, and giving this warm, kind attention. Relaxing attention, soothing attention to the face. And then we can move the attention to the neck, all around the neck, and give it, the neck, this mental massage, gentle, relaxing, soothing mental massage. And now becoming aware of the left shoulder, starting at the neck and moving along the left shoulder and giving it a very good, soothing, relaxing mental massage. It's where we can feel tension, stiffness, tightness in the shoulders. Relaxing and soothing the left shoulder. And now becoming aware of the left arm, starting at the top of the left arm and moving our attention down the left arm, all around it, right down to the fingers, with this really relaxing, soothing, warm attention. And now becoming aware of the right shoulder and moving our attention along the right shoulder and soothing it with this kind, gentle, mental massage. Allowing any stiffness, tension to relax. Now bringing to mind the right arm, starting at the top of the right arm and moving our attention down the right arm, all around it, with this gentle, soothing mental massage right down to the fingertips. Now becoming aware of the back, starting just below the shoulders and moving our attention down the back and relaxing and soothing the back with this mental massage. And any areas that feel sore, uncomfortable, tense, we can give more attention to them with this mental massage. Just so relaxing. Right down to the buttocks. And now we can become aware of the front of the body, starting just below the shoulders and moving our attention down the front of the body, giving the front of the body warm, relaxing, soothing attention. And especially any areas that feel pressure or uncomfortable or painful, giving them extra warmth, extra soothing and relaxing. And now bringing to mind the left leg, starting at the top of the left leg and moving our attention down the left leg, all around it, down to the toes, giving the left leg this mental massage, kind mental massage. Allowing the left leg to really relax and feel comfortable. And now becoming aware of the right leg, starting at the top of the right leg and moving our attention down the right leg, all around it, down to the feet and to the toes, giving the right leg this soothing, relaxing, mental massage. Now we can become aware of the whole body, just sitting here in the present moment, relaxed, soothed and comfortable. Just being here now. And we can visualize, bring to mind, waiting somewhere, waiting on a train or on a bus, waiting at the airport, waiting at the dentist. That we are in this, just waiting. There's nothing we have to do, nowhere we have to go. We're just here for the present moment. And we can just let things be. And we don't need to do anything to occupy ourselves. And we can just wait without wanting. Just being here, being present in waiting, just waiting. Until whatever happens. The appointment comes, the train arrives, the plane arrives, whatever it is. Just waiting without this wanting. Not trying to fill up this period of waiting, the time. No deadlines, no schedules, just waiting. And we can get into contact with a feeling that may come up from just this feeling of waiting. We'd have no responsibilities. There's nothing we have to do at the moment. Just to be here, have this sort of freedom of this in-between moment. And if we are aware of a feeling coming up, maybe it's a pleasant feeling, a warm feeling, just relaxing feeling, nothing to do. No, so wonderful. If we have a feeling like that, we can spread it throughout the body and the mind, just really adding to the relaxation. Relaxing the mind. And we can become aware of anything that's occurring in the present moment, be it the sound of my voice, be it the temperature in this room, feelings in the body, things that are running through the mind, whatever it is that is happening. And while we are waiting, and we can bring this feeling of waiting without wanting, just watching, just being with what we're experiencing. It could be, as I say, sounds. It could be the breath coming in and going out. It could be thoughts. Whatever is happening, we are just watching and waiting, just watching and waiting without this wanting it to be different, to get rid of it, or to get involved with it. We don't need either. We can just be with whatever is happening now for us in this body and this mind. And if the mind wanders off, we can just remind it, just waiting or just letting things be, just to remind it. And the present moment will change from moment to moment while we're waiting without watching, waiting without wanting. And now, as we're coming close to the end of the meditation, we can share whatever we experienced in the meditation. Maybe it's a feeling of rest, of peace, a feeling of being free, enjoying this relaxation of the mind, just waiting without wanting. Share that, whatever we experienced, with everyone here, for their happiness, for their well-being, for their being not busy. It's like a gift we give to others. And we can expand the sharing to around this centre, around this building, to all the beings that are around this area, the animals, the humans, the insects, and the many other, maybe unseen beings too. Sharing whatever we experienced in the meditation with them for their happiness and well-being. And we can keep expanding this sharing further and further to include all the people in Melbourne and beyond, and then the whole of the earth, just gradually, including all our friends, all the people we don't know, our families, everyone. And now we can come back to ourselves and we can reflect on the meditation, how it went. What do we feel like now? How do we feel now as compared to when we started? And what feelings did we come up for us? Were we able to wait without wanting, just letting things be as they are, or not? And did we notice wanting or desires coming up during the meditation? And to reflect, where are all these feelings, where are all these experiences coming from? What's causing them? And we can have the aspiration or the intention to really make use of, really value these in-between moments when we can wait without wanting, when the mind can have a rest. We can just be present with whatever we're experiencing, and in the process becoming more peaceful, maybe more joyful, and learning about our minds, how they work, learning about where experience is coming from. And so now we can slowly come out of meditation, slowly open the eyes and move the body. Yes. So, if just now is the time we can have any comments or questions, how we found the meditation, or did the meditation work for us? Did we find that the mind was more peaceful, more relaxed? We could let things be, wait without wanting. There we are, Henry. Yeah. And this is a good sign, actually, because I always say this, if we have 1,000,001 questions, it's probable that we had a lot of thinking. But when we're waiting without wanting, then the thinking can die down. And I don't know for you, I think actually it was quite a peaceful sit, because that's what I felt, you know. You can usually see you, Paul. You can usually tell if people are restless or, if they're very tired, those things. And it is really great if we can let those feelings be, that when we're tired, just let the tiredness be and not react to it. Not resist it, try to get rid of it, just let it be, and then it will pass by itself. Oftentimes when we fight these different things that we experience in the mind, it's very unpleasant actually. And I've seen people, when they're very tired and they start to nod and they're fighting and they come back up and they go down, the head goes. I've seen people with their heads go almost to the floor. I think, wow. But if we can just let things be and not fight it, that's good. Or restlessness, that's another one, isn't it? The Buddha mentions all the things, 5 of the things that we can, group of things that we can experience. A lot of desire in the mind, wanting this, wanting that, thinking about what's next. Or there can be, the other thing the Buddha mentions, there can be aversion in the mind, that we think, I don't want this, I don't like this. And actually you often hear children say this, I don't like this, I don't want it. And when we hear our minds do it, we know that's the child within us still, being averse to what we're experiencing at the present moment. And we can learn so much just by letting it be, watching those mind states, not being so reactive to things, making peace with what we're experiencing. And then the Buddha also mentions, restlessness, of course, and remorse, thinking about things we've done and said, we thought, well, it would have been better if I hadn't have said that. And also, if we have doubts in the mind, doubt can be very disturbing for meditation, for life, really. If we doubt that we're doing it right, or we doubt that we are capable of something, we doubt, we can doubt everything, really. And I know Ajahn Brahm, he has a wonderful saying. He says, we should doubt doubt. But it's very, very, it's quite a witty saying, but not, doubt is very convincing, actually. We fall for it 100%. So doubt is something that can derail the meditation, derail our lives too, a lot of doubt whether we are capable of things, if we're worthy of things, all these things that we can have doubt about. Of course, they classically say about the Buddha, his teachings, and the Sangha. But the Buddha actually, one of the doubts that his definition of doubt is not knowing the difference between what is wholesome and what's unwholesome. And you may think that's a very obvious thing, but it isn't. And particularly in meditation, it's not obvious whether a state of mind, not always obvious to us, is an unwholesome state of mind or a wholesome state of mind. And these unwholesome states of mind will hold the meditation back, and those wholesome states of mind will usually help us go deeper, get more still, get more peaceful, develop more wisdom. So this is, when we're waiting without wanting. This is very hard for us because wanting is such momentum in our lives, What do I want now? Do I want a cup of tea? Do I want to read something? Do I want to watch something? We're always thinking, what next? The wanting is always, cueing things for us. But actually, if we can see that going on, that's actually wisdom, and we can develop the perspective that we don't have to do all these things that we want, the wanting that comes up in the mind. So that gives a bit of freedom and means we're less busy. But usually, if we want something, if a want comes up in the mind, we do it. We are the slaves. So, and we can get freedom from that too, which is great. And that is, as I mentioned, the freedom from, the third noble truth, freedom from desire. That's not a simple thing, because we're so conditioned from our experience to want, and thinking that wanting is leading to happiness. Getting what we want will lead to happiness. And oftentimes it's just leading to more busyness and more wanting. So it's endless, really. But are there any online questions, Shan?
Yes, Ajahn. So we have a few online questions.
Yeah.
I will start with the question from yesterday.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. From the talk.
I'm a beginner at meditation.
Good. Yeah.
If meditating is doing nothing, then what about watching the breath or vipassana meditation?
Yeah. If meditation's about doing nothing, what about watching the breath? Isn't that doing something? Isn't vipassana doing something? And it can be, but what we're really looking to do with meditation is, nothing. If we can do nothing, if we've got nothing to do and we do nothing, well, that is great. We can just be very, very still. And there's one meditation teacher in Thailand, that's his advice, is actually, they ask him, well, what do you do when you meditate? He said, I do nothing. But we can't do nothing. That's very, very difficult for us. Or we try to do nothing. That's the usual thing. But his actually, the rest of his meditation advice is usually, when you're breathing in, sabai. When you're breathing out, sabai, which means relax, be at ease, be at peace. That's all his meditation advice is. So that is doing something. And when the point with the meditation is really to create a focus for the mind so it can rest on that experience, whether it be the breathing or just as we were doing, just watching the present moment, see what's happening, and enjoy watching the present, or just being at peace with the present moment, maybe enjoying it. Just like in Sri Lanka, I noticed, because I lived in Sri Lanka 13 and a half years and lived in a village, and people can just sit on the veranda and do nothing. They do. They just sit there. They're not looking at their phones or, just watching what's happening, doing nothing. And it's something, when I see that, I think, I don't think we could do it here. I hardly ever see somebody sitting on the veranda just sitting there, Because if we sit on the veranda or whatever, we've got to get the phone out, or maybe ring somebody, or we sit there for a minute and think, the garden needs. Look at that! I didn't see those weeds, and then we start to plan things. But these people can really sit there and just do nothing. It's quite amazing. Well, they seem to be doing nothing. So the point of meditation is really just to have that focus of the mind. And you could say that is some sort of doing, really. And there is a bit of doing at the beginning. But the whole point is that it is something we enjoy doing, and then the mind just goes for that. And this is where, the deep states of meditation happen, when the mind is very, very happy and joyful. It doesn't want to go anywhere else. It's just there. And so it's very, very pleasant just to be with that focus on that joy and that happiness, and then the mind can really come together. So it is a bit of a contradiction, some people may think, doing nothing, but we have got supports for that, for allowing the mind to rest in the breath. That's one of the things I quite like, have the idea of breathing in, resting with the breath, so it is some sort of doing, but it's allowing the mind to do less and less and less and just experience, just to be. And this is really where meditation is taking us. And then that's not the whole of the story, of course, because from that experience of really getting peaceful, getting very still, with the mind being very happy and joyful inside, then we can get clarity and power of mind, because our minds are usually pretty tired, actually. Very busy in the mind. The mind is often, we're very distracted, paying attention to many things. And we have a rest at night. We sleep at night and give the body a sleep. But the mind doesn't get a lot of rest. So if we can value these in-between moments and allow the mind to rest in the present, but to be resting in the present, very alert, and to value that. Whatever we value, we'll tend to enjoy. We'll see, this is an oasis from busyness. If you've been very busy, then to have these little breaks, the in-between moments, they become really quite precious, and you really enjoy them, and you can value them. And then when you have that valuing and enjoying, then we make more of it, and then the mind can really rest in those times, which it really needs. Really, it does need it a lot. And I know one of my teachers, Ayakima, said, we're geared for the body. Everything in our lives is for the body. The houses, the furniture, the beds, the toilets, everything, really. But for the mind, where's the home for the mind? And this is the home for the mind, when we can rest it in peace, when we can allow its focus to reduce to something very simple that doesn't require a lot of thinking about, a lot of reacting to. We can just be with it. So that is, it's the skillful doing nothing. And but that's a very, very, very good question. It's a good question. So thank you for that question. Yeah. And any other?
Thank you, Ajahn. Do we have any question from the floor?
From the floor, it's like Parliament, yes.
Yeah, if
As
not,
the Honourable Speaker. Yes, no, just Parliament. I was thinking when they say from the floor, it's often in Parliament. No. So on the other online questions, Sharon?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yesterday, Ajahn, you mentioned that there are 4 needs any person has, Food, clothing, shelter, and medicines were about emotional needs. Are they wants and not truly needs?
Are there emotional needs, and what about emotional needs? And
Are they type of wants and not truly needs?
Oh, I see. Yes. Because somebody asked about what's the difference between wants and needs, and I think that's always a big question. And the Buddha is actually very good because he mentions our physical needs, and our physical needs are obviously, clothing, for making the body comfortable when it's cold or when it's hot, and also food. We need that. We need that every day, actually. And actually, the Buddha calls that what does he call that? It's he calls it the worst. He's got the worst illness, actually, because it's constant. We have to keep giving food to the body, otherwise it'll die. And we don't think of it like that. But if we were in a society that didn't have a lot of food, we would think of it quite differently. So food is important, shelter is important, and of course medicines at times when there's sickness. And that's our physical needs. And I think it's interesting. Can anybody think of anything else physical that you need? Do you have to have a car? Do you have to have a cell phone? Are these needs or are they wants? You could say in a world like we live in, it's a disadvantage not to have one, or it's less convenient not to have a car or a cell phone or whatever. But they're not necessities as such. And I mentioned, yesterday I mentioned Mahatma Gandhi said, there is enough on the earth for everyone's needs, but not everyone's greed. And that's quite true. You can see that because these four things that are basic necessities, I mean, goodness, you look at Turak, some of the houses there, you look at some of the palaces people have, whoever they are, incredible. And the sorts of foods and also the clothing, of course, incredible. There's there's vast industry of clothing and everything, and medicines too out there, isn't there? Incredible amount. But the emotional needs that we have, are they needs or wants? This person is asking, and I would say there are emotional needs, wants and needs. Actually, they are needs. There are needs. What the mind needs in order for there to be well-being. And mental well-being relies on having enough joy in the mind, enough happiness in the mind. And this is an important ingredient for well-being. When we don't have it, and this is an important ingredient in meditation, it aims at bringing up this sense of joy. And you see it with the Buddha's teaching of meditation. It can be from many different sources. We get an inspiration. It can even be from our experience of unsatisfactoriness or suffering. We get some inspiration that the Buddha's teaching, maybe this can address it, and we feel an inspiration with it that turns into a gladness. Yeah. And when we feel inspiration and gladness, we can start to apply ourselves to practicing meditation, practicing the Noble Eightfold Path. And then in the meditation can deepen, and from that gladness it can become this piti. This piti is a feeling over the body of waves of energy, and it can be tingling, many different forms. And though it feels physical, it obviously meditators will realise that it's coming from the mind. It's not coming from the body, because otherwise we'd experience this in daily life, and we don't. And then in meditation, the body can start to become very, very peaceful, and our awareness of the body can vanish, so that the feeling is that the body's disappeared. Some meditators get very worried. They come out of that deeper meditation, that peace, because of that. And then because of that disappearance of the body, the really peacefulness of the body and the mind, and happiness can come up. And then from happiness, the mind comes together. And then from the mind coming together, once we come out of that state, deep meditation, we can see things very different because all our negative qualities have gone down. Clarity is great, power of mind is great, there's focus in the mind. And so that shows some of the things that we need in life, and particularly this inspiration to find things that inspire us, that give us energy, that give rise to this gladness, this uplift in the mind. And that's very important because without it, we tend to find the mind can become depressed, become negative, become averse, become irritated, all these things. But finding that joy or gladness in our life from things that inspire us, a very important energy source for the mind. So that's something that I think is a real need for human beings. If we don't have joy in the mind, some sort of inner happiness, the mind tends to really take a nosedive. It really goes down, and it's not going to be a pleasant experience of life, because whatever we experience really is coming from the mind. I mean, there is a world out there for sure, but the state of our minds determine what sort of world we live in. If it's a low energy state of mind, that will probably be a very depressed or experience. Sometimes people, when they're angry and irritated, they can have energy, but it's a really unpleasant sort of energy to have in the mind. And then, when we have those mind states, everybody looks a bit like they're an enemy. They're going to give me a hard time. And so this world that we're experiencing very much relies on the quality of our mind. So if we can develop really good qualities, that will be the sort of world we'll experience as well. It'll make life very pleasant. But this energy of joy or gladness, very, very important in our lives to find that. And it's more of an inner joy and happiness, but it can be even from often they say the simple joys, just seeing beauty in nature, in the flowers, in different things, and that sort of can bring this sort of inner joy or gladness up. So this is something that we need for mental health, well-being and mental health, is this sort of joy in the mind, and that gives energy for us. So this is something it's not easy sometimes for people to develop that, but if we incline the mind towards it, if you're practicing meditation and going in that direction, then the mind will tend to develop more joy and happiness. And we can do that by some of the meditations, of course, like developing loving kindness or friendliness meditation, as I call it. We can develop compassion. That can really bring up these good qualities, this joy in the mind, that we can help others, we can care for others. And also the other ones are the joy for other people's success or their good qualities. And that can bring up this joy in our minds. And also this equanimity, this acceptance. It's like a letting be, really, of ourselves and others, but in a very positive sense, in a warm sense, accepting ourselves, accepting others as they are at this present moment, because they can't be any different than they are just now. They maybe can change in the future and the next moment or whatever. We can change. There is possibility for change, but just to be able to accept ourselves and others, that's a big gift to people. We're not judging ourselves, we're not judging them. So these things can also, bring up joy in the mind, as do, if you reflect, if you have faith in the Buddha or confidence in the Buddha, reflecting about the Buddha and his wisdom and his compassion, the qualities of the Buddha, the fact that what he experienced, we can experience. That's why he taught it. Otherwise, not much point if nobody else could experience enlightenment, and so many people did. And reflecting on the Dhamma too, that can bring up energy. The fact that this teaching is available, that is an incredible window on reality, gives us the opportunity to look at life in a different way. And this is what an enlightened being can offer to us, really, is the insights that they've experienced, encouraging us to look in that direction, to see it for ourselves. Not the Buddha's wisdom, of course, is his, but he's showing us where we can look to develop understanding and wisdom as well. So then it can become our wisdom. Yeah. So these are all sources of, there are so many sources for bringing up joy in the mind, and the Buddha talks about quite a few of them. Being a generous person, thinking of our generosity, that we've been sharing and giving to others. That can bring up joy in our minds as well. And also just reflecting on being a good person. We're not harming others, we're not harming ourselves. And in actual fact, we are giving them a gift because we are, somebody that lives by ethical standards, ethical principles. And we have in the Buddha's teaching the 5 precepts that are the usual standards. So that can bring up a joy and a sort of self-esteem too, isn't it? We feel good about ourselves, and that can bring up more energy in the mind and bring up this joy or gladness that I mentioned, give inspiration and then lead to those. So there's quite a few different ways we can develop joy and gladness in our lives, and gratitude is another one. It's really amazing, we often don't look at what we have already, because often we're obscured by wanting. When we want something, that's really big in our minds, and we don't reflect on all the things we already have, which are much more than that wanting. But because it's the focus of the mind, it just obscures everything else, and we're not going to be happy until we get it. The perfect job, the perfect partner, the perfect house, whatever it is that we're after. And yet we forget so much that we could be really grateful for. And when we are grateful, it means we're thankful and we are really happy what we have. We appreciate it. Because Ajahn Brahm here has this nice saying. He says, when we want something else, we can't enjoy, we can't appreciate what we already have. And it's true. It's true. And that's much more, and some of the things that we have in our lives, the people we have in our lives, can be much more important than those things that we feel will make us happy. So gratitude is another one that can bring up this much needed gladness or joy in the mind, as can contentment. It's very similar. We're happy to be here with whatever we have. Just to be happy to be here. So these things, they can make us, they can bring up this energy of joy or gladness. So yes, there are, just as the body has food that it needs, the mind has too. And this is some of the things the mind needs, is this joy, this that gives energy, this gladness that gives energy. So it's very important, yeah. That may be a need, not just a want. So any other questions, Shan, or finished? Oh no, that's it, I think.
Do we have just time for another questions?
It's just gone 9 o'clock.
Right, cool.
Maybe one, just to see.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, just a quick one.
Is there a meditation method that will be particularly beneficial for healing from injury and illness?
Oh yes, there is. The meditation that's very good for that, for healing for injury and illness, is of course metta meditation, kindness, friendliness to the body, to those particular parts of the body that have been injured or where the illness is affecting. That will bring healing and relaxation to the body too. So that's a very useful meditation, because that friendliness, that energy, there's a very positive energy that's not saying, get out of here, cancer, get out of here, diabetes, whatever, or broken leg. It's not that, because that's really aversion. That's a negative state of mind, isn't it? It's not this kind state of mind, this friendly state of mind just can allow these things to be. And in that allowing, the healing can happen rather than having these negative states of mind. They're trying to get rid of stuff, you know. And of course, when we're trying to get rid of things, our minds are negative. It's not a positive for us. So, and when we're wanting, it's not a positive for us either. So I hope that helps with the healing, and just to give attention to those areas when we bring up loving kindness to go, or friendliness, as I often call it, kindness to those areas. So we can finish off there. It's now 9:01. And so we can finish off, and very nice that you came this evening, and I hope you can try out waiting without wanting, or just enjoying the waiting, giving the mind that much, much needed rest, and in the process becoming less busy, creating the habit of being less busy. So this is very, very useful for us, particularly if you do have a life that has, you're doing a lot in it, you have to do a lot, then the moments that we can take rest, not be busy, even more important. So great. All right, and for those who'd like to, we can just pay respects to the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha to finish off.